Hello, everyone. Welcome back to today's story. In this episode, James decides to create a memory that Diep will never forget. What begins as a simple question, "Are you free tomorrow?" quickly turns into a day filled with surprises, emotion. While Diep is still trying to understand why James is being unusually mysterious, he takes her on a morning trip that leads to a place she never expected, a bridal boutique. For the first time in her life, Diep slips into a wedding dress, one so beautiful, it makes her feel like she's living inside her own dream. Stay until the end, because this moment becomes the beginning of a new chapter for their little family. And don't forget to subscribe to help us reach 10,000 subscribers. Your support means the world to us. The night before everything unfolds, James and Diep are sitting together in their small, warm living room. The lights are soft, the air feels calm, but there's a quiet excitement swirling beneath James's voice. He clears his throat and asks, "Diep, are you busy tomorrow?" She looks up from folding Nye's school uniform, surprised by the question. "Tomorrow, I don't think I have any new plans." "Why?" James tries to keep his tone casual, but there's a hint of suspense. "Well, tomorrow you're also free, and I'm free too. So, tomorrow, I'm giving you a day." "A day?" Diep laughs, but her curiosity kicks in instantly. "What does that even mean? Where are we going?" James leans back, arms crossed in an exaggerated pose of mystery. "We're going to a very special place." Diep narrows her eyes, pretending to interrogate him. "Can you tell me now? Just a little hint?" "No." James shakes his head quickly. "This is a secret. If I tell you, it won't be special anymore. Trust me, tomorrow will be even better than a trip." Diep throws a small pillow at him. "You really make me curious." But underneath the playful teasing, James's eyes soften. That excitement is mixed with something else, something heavier, more vulnerable. He hesitates, then finally asks, "Diep, there's something I'm worried about. If I tell you this plan, I'm afraid you won't be happy." Her smile fades a little. "Why would I be unhappy? What is it?" "It's about the two of us," he answers carefully. "Your parents? Do they know about us yet?" Diep nods slowly, then says, "My mother knows. She's actually very happy. But my father, let's not talk about that anymore. At least not tonight." James takes a breath of relief. "Honestly, I don't work with your father anymore. I only help him occasionally. We have our own company now, so it's better this way." Diep looks at him with gentle appreciation, sensing how much he's tried to keep the peace over the past months. Before the moment turns too heavy, James stands up and claps his hands. "Okay, enough talking. I already boiled water for your shower. Go wash up and get ready. We have to wake up early tomorrow." Diep chuckles, shaking her head. "You're being weird today, but fine. I'll go shower." The water boils in the background, crackling softly. A small, domestic sound that contrasts with the big secret he's keeping. Diep heads to the bathroom, but her mind keeps circling back to James's mysterious tone. She can't help imagining what he's planning. A trip? A surprise gift? Something about their company? Or something about their future? And at that same moment, James is sitting alone on the couch, fingers tapping nervously on his knee. He keeps thinking, "I hope she'll like it. I hope this won't make things more complicated with her father. I hope today becomes a memory she'll keep forever." That night, both of them fall asleep earlier than usual, each carrying their own version of excitement and concern. The next morning comes before the sun is fully awake. Birds chirp outside the window as Diep slips on her jacket, and James helps Nye tie her shoelaces. They head out in the cool morning air, the sky still painted in soft shades of pink. As they arrive at the school gate, Diep reminds him, "I still have to take Nye to school first." "Of course," James nods, smiling at the little girl. "Nye has been doing really well in school lately. The teacher praised her again yesterday, right?" Diep beams with pride. "Yes. They said she learns quickly and behaves well." Nye waves goodbye, her tiny backpack bouncing towards the classroom. Once she disappears through the school door, James turns to Diep with a slightly mischievous grin. "Ready?" Diep folds her arms. "I'm still waiting for you to tell me what we're doing." "Nope." James laughs. "Get in the car. You'll know soon." The drive is longer than she expected. They pass the market, the old bridge, and the small coffee shop where they used to sit during their early days of dating. The scenery slowly shifts until Diep sees a row of elegant boutiques ahead. Her eyes widen. "Wait, are we—" James parks the car smoothly, steps out, walks around, and opens her door like he's part of a movie scene. "Come on." Inside the bridal boutique, a woman with a bright smile greets them. "Hello. Please take a seat. You two came to try on the dress, right?" Diep's jaw drops. She turns to James, stunned. "James, what is going on?" "It's 8 in the morning." The shop owner continues warmly. "My friend will handle the bride's makeup. Groom too, if needed." A makeup artist steps forward, guiding Diep gently to a chair. "Daughter-in-law, sit down. I'll do your makeup today." Diep looks at James again, trying to piece everything together. "Why didn't you say anything? Why keep this a secret?" James holds back a laugh. "Because if I told you, you would have stayed up all night thinking. But don't worry. We're only trying them on today." "Trying on what?" she asks. He doesn't answer. Instead, he gestures toward the staircase leading to the upper floor. "Can you go upstairs and help me?" he calls to another staff member. At that moment, Diep's heart is racing. It's not just curiosity anymore. It's something deeper. A thrill, a glow, a sense of being cherished in a way she hasn't felt in a very long time. As her makeup is finished and her hair is styled softly around her face, the artist hands her a mirror. Diep barely recognizes herself. It's not dramatic or overwhelming, just enough elegance to bring out every natural feature she already has. "Beautiful," the artist whispers, and Diep suddenly feels her chest warm. Then the shop owner returns. "All right, Diep, let's go upstairs to try your dresses." Upstairs, rows and rows of wedding gowns glitter under warm lights. Lace, satin, pearls, delicate embroidery. Each dress seems like it came out of a dream. Diep steps closer to one of them, fingertips brushing over the soft fabric. James walks in a minute later, wearing a light-colored suit, his hair styled neatly. He looks different, more polished, more intentional, more serious in the way a man looks when he's imagining his future. Diep holds up a dress against herself and asks shyly, "Do you think this outfit looks good on me?" James doesn't hesitate. "It's beautiful. Honestly, I think this one really suits you. You look like a real bride." She smiles, cheeks warming. "I guess this outfit really does suit me. You're also very handsome today." He rubs the back of his neck. "You thought I was taking you somewhere else, right? But actually, I wanted to surprise you too." Diep's eyes soften. "Thank you for taking me to try on a wedding dress today. This is the first time I've ever worn something so beautiful. Thank you." "Honey?" James takes a slow breath, then admits, "Today's secret is simple. I just wanted to see you in a wedding dress. We'll wait a little longer, until our company is running well. Then we'll do it for real. Just wait with me, okay?" Diep nods, heart full. The white dress flows behind her when she moves, and for a moment, she sees the future. Bright, steady, full of promise. "Let's head home," James says softly, and the two walk out together, closer than they were the night before. The car ride home is quiet at first. Not because there's nothing to say, but because both of them are still soaking in everything that happened. The sunlight outside grows warmer, streaking across Diep's face as she gazes out the window, fingertips brushing lightly over the soft fabric of the gown bag resting on her lap. Although they didn't bring home a full wedding outfit, the boutique had gifted her a small veil as a keepsake. She keeps tracing its delicate lace, her mind replaying every moment from the morning. James glances at her, noticing the faraway look in her eyes. "You're thinking about it, aren't you?" Diep blinks, smiles faintly. "Is it that obvious?" "You haven't stopped smiling since you changed out of the dress," he teases, but his voice is warm, so warm it fills the entire car. She laughs softly, "Because I've never felt that way before. When I looked in the mirror, wearing that dress, I don't know, James. It felt like a dream. And when you looked at me, it felt even more real." She pauses, voice dropping slightly. "Sometimes I wonder if I deserve something that beautiful." James immediately shakes his head, slowing the car as they turn into a quieter road. "Don't say things like that. You deserve all of it, more than you know." His tone is firm, not scolding, but steady enough that Diep feels a warm pressure in her chest. For a moment, the insecurities she always tried to hide float to the surface. The turbulent years she went through, the struggles, the judgments, the complicated way her father viewed her choices. Yet in that quiet car, with James beside her, all of it feels small. She looks at him again. "Thank you for today. You don't have to thank me." "I do," she insists gently, "because this wasn't just trying on dresses. You gave me something to remember, something to hold on to before everything becomes real." James reaches over and squeezes her hand, his thumb brushing the back of it. "Everything will become real. I just want us to walk into it when we're ready. Not rushed, not stressed, not worried about finances or family pressure. When our company is stable, when we can do everything properly, I want you to have the best wedding we can give." Diep's eyes soften even further. "I'll wait. However long it takes, I'll wait with you." The sincerity in her voice settles into James's heart. That's all he needed to hear. When they finally reach home, Nye has already been dropped off by her classmate's mother, who lives nearby. The little girl runs toward them, backpack bouncing, her tiny hands clutching her drawing from school. "Mommy! Uncle James!" she calls out excitedly. Diep crouches down, hugging her. "What did you draw today?" "A princess dress," Nye exclaims, holding up a paper covered with glitter and uneven lines. "Look, look!" James raises a brow, glancing at Diep. "Princess dress? What a coincidence!" Diep bites back a smile, placing a small kiss on Nye's forehead. "It's beautiful. You did really well." Nye beams proudly, tugging on James's sleeve next. "Are you hungry? Teacher said we need to eat healthy to grow tall." James laughs. Yes, I'm starving." Diep stands up. "I'll go cook something quick for lunch." But James grabs her hand gently. "No, let me cook today. You've already had a long morning. Rest a bit." Diep hesitates. Cooking is usually her way of grounding herself, but today she nods. "Okay, I'll help Nye with her homework in the meantime." Inside the kitchen, James starts preparing lunch. Something simple, just rice, stir-fried vegetables, and braised chicken. He moves around confidently, humming under his breath, while Diep leans against the doorway and watches quietly. She never told him out loud, but one of the things she always admired about James was the way he made the house feel alive. His presence filled every corner. As she observes him chopping vegetables, she suddenly sees a flash of the future. A bigger home, maybe a garden, Nye playing with a puppy, James cooking, and her setting the table. A normal family, a hopeful one, and it makes her chest ache in the sweetest way. James notices her staring. "What are you looking at? You're smiling like you know a secret." Diep shrugs innocently. "Maybe I do." They share a soft laugh before Diep goes to sit with Nye, helping her trace letters. James watches them from the kitchen doorway, a mother and child leaning close, the sunlight drawing a warm halo around them. Something inside him stirs deeply. "I want this forever," he thinks. "I want to come home to this every day." After lunch, the three of them clean up together. Diep washes dishes, James dries them, and Nye stacks the bowls like a tiny assistant. Then James looks at Diep and says, "Let's go for a walk." "A walk? Where?" "Just around the neighborhood. Come on." They head out with Nye, skipping between them. The afternoon air is breezy, and the trees lining the street rustle gently. Diep holds Nye's hand, while James walks slightly ahead, occasionally turning back to smile at them. Partway down the road, they reach a small park. Nye runs to the swings, and James pushes her gently, while Diep sits on a nearby bench. After a few minutes, James joins her. "So, how do you feel now? About today?" "About today, about us, about everything." Diep watches Nye, laughing on the swing, her little legs kicking the air. "Happy," she answers honestly. "I feel safe and hopeful. I feel like maybe things are finally going right for us." James exhales softly. "Good. Because I've been thinking a lot lately about our future, about how to build everything step by step. I know your father doesn't approve yet, and that makes things complicated, but I'll work hard. I'll prove that I can take care of both you and Nye." Diep shakes her head slightly. "You already are, every day." He looks away for a moment, eyes softening. "Still, I want to do more. I want to give you both the life you deserve. She touches his arm. James, I don't need anything big or perfect. I just need us to be together. That's all. Her words hit him deeper than she realizes. For a moment, the world falls quiet. Just the wind, the sound of children playing, and the sun casting long shadows across the ground. James turns toward her, voice low. Earlier, when you wore that wedding dress, I felt something shift inside me. I don't know how to explain it. Diep's eyes meet his, waiting. It was like seeing you in that gown made everything feel real. Not just a dream we talk about, but something that's coming. Something we can reach. Diep smiles. A slow, glowing smile that reaches her eyes. I felt the same. They head back home when Nye starts getting sleepy. James carries her on his back while Diep walks beside him, holding the small veil the boutique gave her. The sky turns orange, then pink, then purple as evening settles in.